Welcome back. We just got told the story of the balance by Tobias, and as a result, we have a new diary entry. So let's read that. I've just been told the story of the balance by Tobias, and I figured I should try to write this down while I still remember bits and pieces of it. Talk about cryptic history. Tobias lost me somewhere around the 12 and the 1. Like, excuse me? What? But I think I got the gist of it. There are two worlds. One is Stark, the world of science, what I call Earth. And then there's Arcadia, the world of magic, what people here call Earth. Two Earths then. Which gets a little confusing, but not half as confusing as what came after. A long, long time ago, there was just one Earth. And this Earth had both magic and science. But mankind has always had a habit of screwing things up. And this is what they did on the original Earth. They got too powerful, learned how to move stars and be gods, by combining the powers of magic and science. So an alien race called the Draykin decided to interfere to prevent mankind from destroying their own world. One of the so-called kin founded this religious movement called the Sentinel, or the Fathers, who are self-appointed watchers over the balance between magic and science. The Sentinel were instrumental in dividing Earth into two dimensions, Stark and Arcadia, science and magic. They also put a woman in charge of controlling and channeling the balance between the two worlds. A guardian of the balance who lives in a tower in a sort of in-between realm, and who's replaced every 1,000 years by a new guardian. So then life goes on for like thousands of years, until the Sentinel starts squabbling internally, and the Sentinel priests in Stark decide to break with their Arcadian friends and found this new cult or whatever, called the Vanguard. The Vanguard want the worlds reunited, and they plan to do this by controlling the Guardian himself or herself. This is what they've been doing for a few hundred years now, destroying potential Guardians by performing experiments on them or something. My hand is starting to cramp up. I'm amazed I even remember half of this. Anyways, the current Guardian couldn't stay any longer, and he left his tower in the middle of nowhere. And now the balance is in danger. Apparently, Chaos can really do some serious damage to both Stark and Arcadia. Which does remind me of my dream. I'm not sure that's the right word anymore. With the black chaos thingy, the vortex that attacked me. That's probably a sign of what's gonna happen if somebody doesn't do something to save the balance. And I'm sensing this coming on, because that's how it always goes in these things. That somebody is me. Because apparently I'm a strong shifter. Somebody has to find the Guardian, get him back in the tower to save the balance, and then do something about the Vanguard. Get them to see that they're screwing with things they shouldn't be screwing with. Hey, easy. I do the kind of stuff before breakfast. Okay. Pretty much just a summary of what we'd just been told. But that's nice because it's quite complicated and quite important to the rest of the game. So, now that we know more about what we're doing here, I guess we should start working on getting back to Stark, to our own Earth. And Cortez told us we should find a man called Brian Westhouse. Now, there's two ways we could go about that. We could go to every single house in the city and try to figure out if Brian Westhouse lives there, or we could just ask around, which was probably more efficient. So let's see if Tobias knows anything. We can ask him some more questions generally as well, as if we hadn't had enough conversation already.
Do you know a man named Brian Westhouse?
Westhouse? That old goat? Yes, unfortunately. What would you with him?
I need to find him.
I do not know where he lives. I hear somewhere on the outskirts of the city by the sea, but I cannot tell you any more than that.
Who'd know about Westhouse?
His whereabouts? I do not understand what you would with him. He is rude, uncultured, and ignorant.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
Cortez told me to look him up.
Well, I do not know where he lives or frequents, but someone at the market may. He trades merchandise there, and I think he collects maps of the Northlands.
So maybe the map merchant knows where he is. Well, let's ask him some other questions about Cortez and Arcadia and all the other stuff.
What do you know about Cortez?
Your mentor? What has he told you about himself?
Not a lot.
Not much. Nothing, in fact. He's a complete mystery to me.
To learn something about someone, the best way to go about it is to ask them yourself. There is nothing I can do to enlighten you.
But who is he?
He is who he is, what he is. If he has not told you himself, then perhaps he does not wish you to know. It would be improper for me to divulge his secrets.
You're as bad as he is. No offense. It's just frustrating.
I understand. The next time you see him, tell him what you have told me. Maybe he will tell you the truth, maybe he will not. It is his choice to make.
Very helpful.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions about Arcadia?
I will try my best to answer any question you may have, April.
Oh yeah, like, that's an easy question.
What's the history of Arcadia?
There is so much I do not know where to begin. In truth, it would be wiser to ask someone else, unless you wish to know about the Fathers, the Balance, or Mudhoppers.
Mudhoppers?
Mudhoppers?
My secret passion. I study them. They are a most fascinating species. Most fascinating indeed. But I am not practically versed in the intricacies of history, I'm sorry to say.
What's Marcuria like?
I have lived in this city all my life, and still it amazes me what a diverse, exciting, and wonderful place it is. Many have called Marcuria the jewel of the Northlands, and they are right. But it is a diamond in the rough. A city this size can never be flawless. There are always shadows, and people who hide in them. Lately, the shadows have grown and darkened, and I fear for the future. But Marcuria is still a wonderful place to live.
Anything else?
What else can you tell me about Marcuria?
Marcuria is the capital of Ireed, the unified country, and we are located on the southern coast of the Northlands, halfway between Tyran and Khorasan. Between the Snapjaw and the Gaintbeast, some might call it. Between the embers and the fire. Yet democracy and peace have reigned for thousands of years now, and although relations may at times be strained with our tyrant neighbors, the High Council are masters of diplomacy. And Lord Igvandellan is a firm and just chief counselor of the Ireedan flag.
Okay.
Tell me a little about Ireed.
Ireed means both unification and assembly in High Tongue, and many still call Ireed the unified country, even though it is an age and a half since the lands of the north joined together in alliance. Ireed stretches from the plains of Nedra in the north to the Great Sea in the south, and from the territories of Tyran in the west to the thick woodlands in the east. It is populated by humans and Dolmare, Tyran and a number of other races. It is even said that a tribe of Venar have a ring of trees in Riverwood, though I am not sure that is anything but a myth.
Okay, lots of geography we don't know anything about, so...
What are the Northlands?
The Northlands is a collective term for all the lands north of the Great Sea, and south of the border mountains including Ireed, Tyran, and Khorasan.
Not to be confused with Coruscant.
Before, however, the word Northlands was used to describe this entire continent, including the territories north of the mountains and the icy wastes beyond that. Some still prefer the latter interpretation of the name. And to the people of the Southlands, anyone hailing from north of the Great Sea is a Northlander regardless.
Thanks for the information.
I'm glad I could assist you.
Well, we should ask him some more questions, but We'll do that in the next video.